Hello and welcome. There aren't many tactical games based upon World War I, also known as a Great War. We have a lot of tactical games based on World War II. There is a good number of tactical games based on Cold War or modern days, but if you looked deeper into the past, you would find that it all ends with World War II, and if you will look at World War I or maybe even earlier, you will find that there aren't many games that are using, well, platoon or maybe squad scale. It makes sense, but still it would be interesting to get some, and that was one of the reasons that I get No Man's Land, Trench Warfare 1914-1918, a game by Ludifolie, a French company, which depicts tactical scale combat on the Western Front of the World War I. This game comes with two boards, one for the first stage of the war and one for the second stage of the war, which is printed on the other side of this board, counters and this rulebook. It is not a very complicated game. I think that especially if you would compare this with many World War II tactical games, you will find No Man's Land quite easy to handle. A good thing is that this game comes with a lot of scenarios, and they are coming one year after another, and each scenario brings something new, so you can learn the rules quite easily. But the first thing you should do after purchasing this game is to go on the Board Game Geek and to print a new table sheet, because a game comes with its own sheet with English and French version, but this Players 8, as it is called, has a couple of typos. Some of them are quite important. For example, there should be minus and there is plus or contrary. So you'd better get rid of it and print a new one which is good and has no typos. So after making sure that you have a proper Players 8, you can start your game. And in this video, and maybe a couple of other videos, I would like to show you how this game works. Starting with a very basic scenario 1, and then getting further with other scenarios showing the next years of the war, new inventions, new tactics, etc., etc. So this game is divided into two basic parts. First one is the planning phase, and the second one is assault phase. Planning takes place only once per game, and assault is the basic play of the game. So we have to start with a planning. First of all, we have to choose the scenario, and I'm going to start with scenario 1, 1914 Fix Bayonet. So we are using a board for the 1914-1915, and first we have to check for our units and our special rules. So let's start with special rules, because special rules sometimes says which part of the board or which structures on the board are used or not. And here we have ignore the Friedrich and the Gerhard trench lines, all communication trenches and the second wire line. Okay, so now let's take a look on the board first. A board has a couple of trench lines. There are two trench lines for the attacker, Roger and Robert, and three trench lines for the defender, Erich, Friedrich and Gerhard. Despite the fact that these are using German names and the others are using French names, both are used by the same by the both players. So if French player is defending, he is using these trenches, and if German player is defending, he is using these trenches as well. And according to the special scenario rule, we are using only Erich trenches, and Friedrich trenches and Gerhard trenches are no existing, save Same goes to these communication trenches and to the second wire line. Only the first wire line is present on board. Next, we have to check the status of the wire lines, because each barbed wire has its own place here, and you have to mark to place a counter that shows the initial status of the barber line. And in this scenario we have information: first barber wire row damaged. So we are taking a damaged counter and we are placing it here to indicate that all these hexes have its barber wire damaged. Okay, so we know the board, and next step is to set up a defender. Now, let's check for the defender units. German player has 6 infantry 3-2 or 12 infantry 1-1. So German player has a choice. He can use 12 units of 1-1 or 6 units of 3-2. I'm going to use 12 units of 1-1. And now, when we are here, we can talk a bit about the counters that we are using in this game. In this scenario, let's start with Germans, since we are going to set up Germans first. We'll be using 3 types of German counters. They're platoons, machine guns, and officers. What do we have on these counters? We have 2 basic factors. First one is units firepower, which is 3 for the German platoon and 1 if the German platoon is reduced. Next, we have units size. It is 1 for the reduced platoon and 2 for the full platoon. Next, we have units stacking points. These are red poppies here, and they are saying that full platoon has a stacking value of 2 and half platoon has a stacking value of 1. Next, we have machine guns. Machine guns have their values in red. This means that they are hitting all the enemy units on the hex. What it means? If you are firing with your platoon and there are multiple units on the single hex, you have to choose which of them is your target. But if you are firing a unit with a red firepower, it can hit all the enemy units on the given hex. And finally, officers. They have no any values, they have no stacking size, they are working as a marker. Instead, officer provides a couple of modifiers when it is on the hex with its units, or there are friendly units adjacent to officer. Also, one more thing, notice that this machine gun has a letter of V there. This means that it has its own facing, that it must be used to fire on the enemy. Infantry units may fire in any direction they want, but machine gun, if it wants to fire on the enemy, has to be set up in a certain direction, and if it is set up like that, it can fire in that way, or any hexes between these lines, but it cannot fire, for example, like that, or that. To notice the line of sight, you have to link dots that are in the middle of every hex between that are on the firing unit and the target. So this is quite easy and I think quite obvious. So we are in this step we have to set up German units, and German units, defenders units, can set up in any hexes of their trenches, but since in this scenario we are using only the first trenches line, so we have to set up Germans in this first trench line. And after all the defender units are set up, they are all marked with hidden marker. Units remain under hidden marker until they are firing, moving, or they are hit by enemy, which results with being pinned or suffering a loss. Or if it's your own player's decision. You may reveal your own units freely. And when we are setting up our defenders units, we are going into the air step. In this step, our fighters are fighting, and our reconnaissance planes or balloons are performing reconnaissance missions. In this scenario, we only have a French reconnaissance balloon. There are no fighters. So this balloon can perform a reconnaissance mission on German positions. And how are you doing so? You are making a roll in the reconnaissance table and notice that you are making 1d6 roll, and next you have to include a couple of modifiers. If there is no surviving enemy fighter, +1. If it is a balloon, +2, but no other bonuses allowed. And -1 if it is 1916, reconnaissance plane only. So the only modifier we are going to use is this +2 if it is a balloon. So we have to make a d6 roll with +2 modifier. This is 3. So we get 5. Let's go back. And 5, 2 sections revealed. So we are taking a reveal counters now to see which, and we can choose 2 sections here that we can reveal. I think I will choose this section and that section. And now I can remove these markers along with hidden markers. So now I know who is there. So that's all when it comes to the air stuff. We are moving into the next stuff, which is going to be focused on artillery. First of all, I need to check how many artillery points each player has. According to scenario, French player has 3 artillery points, and the German player has 8 artillery points. Amazing. So after we are done with this, we are making a roll to see in which direction wind blows. 6. It's going to blow in northwest. Wind is not very important in this particular scenario, but it can be useful just to remember to make this roll. So now we are going into the part which is preparatory bombardment phase. In this phase, attacker only can use his artillery points to attack enemy. He can target enemy units, barbed wire, or enemy headquarters. We have only 3 artillery points, so our options are very limited. We can perform 2 kinds of attacks. 3. Counter battery fire, hurricane barrage, or straight barrage. Counter battery fire is not allowed in this scenario, so we can ignore it. Hurricane barrage is an attack against certain hexes. It costs us 1 artillery point per attack, but it gives a risk of being scattered. And straight barrage hits all the hexes of the given hex row. So for example, if we would perform a barrage against hex row K, then all these hexes will be hit. But to perform straight barrage, you need 5 action points. And allied player has only 3, so no straight barrage for us this time. Sometimes scenario gives you straight barrage for free at the beginning of the scenario, but not this time. So we have 3 artillery points, and we can decide where we are going to use them. We are taking high explosive markers, since we are firing high explosive ammo according to the scenario, and I am going to fire here, there, and there, hoping that I will be able to weaken enemy positions here a bit. It is always good to target revealed units, because there is a bigger chance to score a hit on them. Now, we can perform our hurricane attacks versus enemy units. First of all, we always have to check if our attack wasn't scattered. So, we are taking a scatter table, and if 1-2, it is scattered. If 4-3-6, no scattering, and +1 if target tank, no. If +1 if area previously revealed by sight, yes. And -2 if defender's artillery, except against enemy trenches. So we have +1 for this roll here because enemy is revealed. So we are making a roll 6. We scored a hit on them, so now we have to make another roll to see the effect of our barrage. And here scenario comes with additional information that French units in this scenario have -1 on barrage effects table. So we are going to subtract 1 from our roll for the barrage effect. So this is 4. So -1 is 3. I think there are no additional modifiers here per additional extra artillery point, if not in the trenches, enemy is in the trenches, so no other modifiers. So this is 4, -1, it is 3, and unit 3, no effect. So this was a miss. Let's check here. This unit is also revealed, so we are making a roll to see if our hit was scattered or not. It wasn't, so this is a hit. And let's see the result. This is 5. And we have to subtract -1, so it's 4. 4, 5. The target is pinned. Okay, and finally here, this hex is hidden, so we are not getting a modifier for our scatter track. This is 4, so this is a hit, great. And now let's see the result. There is a single unit here, because if there will be more units, each of them will be hit and we will roll separately for them. But here we have to roll a single time. 4, -3, this is a miss. So that's all when it comes to the French artillery. We spent 3 artillery points, so we have no more artillery points to spend. And this concludes our artillery fire. If there will be more artillery points, we would be able to fire at enemy command post, enemy communication lines, enemy artillery, but this is all non-possible in this scenario, so we used our artillery as best as we could. So that's all when it comes to the French artillery, and we are moving into the next step, setting up attacker units. First of all, we need to check for surprise. We are making a roll to see the initial row of the attacking units. Normally you have to make a roll and see if you would get 1, you will set up your units in the line L, 2 and 3 M, 4, 6 N, and 7 O. But in this scenario we have to set up our units in the row O by default. It says so in the special scenario rules. And next thing is that we have to set up our units adjacent to each other in the 2 units per hex. So I cannot, for example, make a one big group here and one big group there. No, I have to set them up adjacent to each other. And I have 16 French units with the strength 2-2 and 2 French officers. So here they are, ready to start, and the last step is to take 16 allow marker and put them into opaque cap and shuffle them well, because you will be drawing them during this game. So that's all when it comes to the planning part of the game. This is the end of the planning part, and we are moving into the assault part of the game, which is the main body of the game. During assault, both players are performing their actions, starting with attacker. We are starting with attacker artillery phase, and if attacker still has artillery points, he can perform his attacks against enemy barbed wire or enemy units. He cannot perform straight barrages during this phase. Straight barrages are available only in the planning part of the game. In the assault part of the game, you can only perform attacks during the certain hexes, but French player has no artillery points left, so he cannot perform his actions. with artillery, so we are moving to the action phase, which belongs to our units. And now each unit can perform one of three actions. It can move, fire, or rally. And now, according to the special scenario rules, in this scenario, French units are not allowed to fire at the enemy if they are in the no man's land. They can only attack, you know, holding their bayonets and saying "Huzzah!" And I think this is what are we going to do in this phase. So, how are we making a move? We are simply moving our unit on the one of the adjacent hexes. It can be any hex you want, but all you have to care about is the stacking limits. So, we are moving like that, and according to the special scenario rules, all these units have to move together. We cannot deconstruct our initial stacks. We have to move them together as long as one of units on the stack is pinned. If one unit is pinned, then the other may move on and the pinned unit remains on the hex. When it comes to the officers, they are moving with their own units, and if their unit is eliminated, they can join the second unit on the hex. If commander remains alone on the hex, he is eliminated. So, this concludes all the actions of the attacker, and now we are moving to defender. Defender has the same situation as attacker. He may perform his artillery fires and then actions with his units. German player has 8 artillery points, so this means that German player will gladly use them against attacking French forces. So there will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to fire on these hexes, but I will have to roll for scatter as well, and notice that when it's defender artillery, we have to subtract -2 from our die roll. So this will be harder to hit enemy. So I'm starting here. 5 -2 is 3. We hit the hex. That's good. And German player has this negative modifier for artillery in this scenario. It affects French player only. So we can hit. We have 2 French units here. So each of them is hit by artillery. First one, ooh, it's 1. So this is a miss. And the second one, it's 6. Amazing. We also get +1 for the die roll because French units are not in the trench line, pillbox, MG nests. So this is 7. And now in the unit column, loss and pinned. This means that this second French unit on this hex suffers loss and is marked with pin marker. Next, this hex. First we need to roll for the scatter track. 3 -2 is 1, so this fire is scattered. Where? 1. Onto this hex. So there is no one. So this goes out. Next, this hex. It is scattered. Where? 2. Onto this hex. So they are hit. We are rolling for the first unit. Oh, sorry. 2. They are. This is +1 for the clear terrain. So this is 3. Still a miss. And the second unit, 6. 7. +1 is 7. So they are hit and they are marked with pin. And finally here, 6. So we hit the hex, and now how good we hit them. Haha, another 6. Amazing. So this unit suffers a loss and is pinned. And the second unit, my god, 666, the number of the beast. So this unit also suffers a hit and is pinned. So we spent 4 artillery points for this fire, so German player has to reduce his artillery points struck by 4. And next we have a action phase of German units. And now, defender can perform the same actions as attacker. He may move, he may fire, or he may rally. Notice that a lot of German units, majority of them, is marked with hidden markers. So this means that a defender cannot target them with their infantry fire. But if they will decide to perform a fire against the enemy, they will have to get out of the hidden marker. So, what are we going to do? I think that Germans are going to fire anyway. So, I am starting with them. And how do we fire with our infantry units? We can only fire on the revealed units. We cannot fire at units marked with hidden or camouflage. So, if your firepower is white, you can only target a single unit on the hex. So let's say that this German unit targets this French unit. First of all, we have to check the unit size. So this is 2. Wait a moment. First of all, we need to check attacker's firepower. It is 1. So we'll be rolling with 1d6. Next, we are checking target's size. It is 2. And next we are making a roll. We got 4, and now we have to add modifiers in the fire table. So +2 for target size. It is 2, so it is 6. If target is not in the trench or structure, yes, they are in the clear terrain. So now it is 7. If firing unit is pinned, if firing unit is gassed, if one is a hindrance. Oh, this is quite important thing. If target is at 5 hex or more, and -2 if target is at 10 hexes or more, if firing unit command post is disrupting. So, enemy is in the 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get no modifier for range, and this means that we hit them on 7. So, 7 plus, it is a loss, and pinned if red firepower. No, this is white firepower, so this unit suffers a loss. Next, this German unit fires here. A range is 4. This is 3. We got +2 for the size, +1 for the clear terrain. So this is 6. This means that they are hidden, they are pinned, and if they would be already pinned, they would suffer a loss, but they are not pinned. Next, this unit fires onto the first unit on the stack. So 3 +2 and +1, this is 6, so this unit is pinned. And since we have a commander here, we have to roll to see if commander wasn't killed by accident. No, he wasn't. If we would roll 6, he would be killed. But no, this machine gun is pinned. It needs to perform a rally roll, and we are in the friendly trench, so we get +1 for our rally roll. Amazing, we got 7, and if we get 7 in the rallying table, this means that unit is rallied and may act this turn. So we not only managed to rally this machine gun, but it can also fire. That's fantastic. For Germans, of course. So this machine gun targets this hex 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has firepower of 3. So this means that it rolls 3 dice and chooses the best result for each hit. So we are firing at the first unit. We got 6, 3, 3. So I am taking 6, and this means that we got 8. And 1 for the clear terrain, so it's 9. So they are suffering a loss. And we need to roll for the possible commander's loss. He is dead. That's very bad for French player. And next we are rolling for the second unit on this stack. 3, 1 and 5. I am taking 5. And 6 and 7 for the clear terrain. So this unit is eliminated. So machine guns can be deadly. Definitely. Now, this stack fires onto this unit. All the German units have a firepower of 1 in this scenario. Wow! Another 6! So French unit suffers a loss. They are firing here. 5 plus 2 and 3, 8. So they suffer a loss, and we need to make a roll for the officer. He's fine. Now them, they are firing here. 4. This is 5 for the size and 6 for the clear terrain. So they are pinned, and they are already pinned, so they suffer a loss. Now them, they are firing onto this unit. This is 3, 4 and 5. No, this is a miss. This unit fires here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get we get -1 because of the range. Oh, this is a miss. 2, 4, 5 for the clear terrain and 4 for the range. So this is a miss. Now this stack, we have a machine gun here. So this machine gun targets this hex. So first unit, I am taking 4, and we got 6, 7 because of the clear terrain and 6 because of the range. So they are only pinned. And the other unit on this hex, 6. This one is hit. So they suffer a loss, and they are also pinned. Alright. Next, I have an infantry unit here, and it can also target a French unit here. We got 5, 6, 7 and 8 for the clear terrain, 7 for range. They suffer a loss. Now them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow! Again, this one unit suffers a loss, so it is eliminated. Them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A miss. And this unit cannot fire at them because you cannot fire through the units. You cannot fire through the friendly units or enemy units. So this unit remains under hidden marker and does nothing. And this concludes German actions in the German action phase. When we are done with Defender's action phase, we are moving into the area phase. If we have any fighters in the Sky Domination track table, they have to fight against each other, but we have none of them, and this balloon has to be removed. It works only in the planning phase. So we are not going to resolve any stuff in the area phase in this scenario. Next, we have Elan phase. In this phase, we have to draw one marker from the Elan cup. And let's first focus on the Elan counters, and let me tell you how do they work. We have 4 types of them, and first of them is forward. If you get forward, you are placing it here, and it allows attacker to reroll 1 roll during the game. You can declare this before you are making a roll. Next, these 3 other counters, Rally, Initiative and Close Combat, are placed on the Elan track, always on the in the upper part of the board of the track. So if you are, for example, if we would get Rallying marker, we would place it on 3. Elan track simulates attacker vigor and bravery. As we get more counters, its modifiers are going down. and they are showing our present modifiers for actions. When we have +3 on rally, then every time defenders perform a rally action, he gets +3. But if we would get a rallying marker, then it would be +2. If we would get another rally marker, it would be +1 or 0 or even -1. If we would get close combat, we would place it here, and it would reduce our modifier for close combat. And initiative, at the beginning, it does nothing. There is no marker here. But if you will get initiative marker, you can place it here, and this works a bit differently than the remaining two, because you can decide to lower this counter by 1 and get +1 for any die roll you want before you are making this die roll. After, of course, you can get more initiative markers that will steal you possibilities of using this track, but, well, the choice is yours. So, we are putting all the allow markers onto the cup, and now we have to draw one of them. This is initiative, okay. So, now a French player will be allowed to use this initiative track to get +1 for one of his die rolls. And this is almost the end of the turn, because the last part of the turn is wind, smoke and gas phase. In this phase we are taking care of the gas smoke markers. We have none in this scenario, and we are checking if the wind is changing its direction. We are making a roll. If we would get 1, the wind is removing all the gas and smoke markers from the board, and if we would get 6, then wind changes its direction and we have to make another roll to see where it blows now. But we get 2, so wind still blows in the same direction. And this concludes turn 1 of the game. We can go on with turn 2. We are starting with French units. There is no French artillery, so we are moving straight into the French action phase. So, this unit goes here, this unit goes there. They are pinned, so they have to be rallied. And we are making a roll, and we add +3, because our rally is +3. That's pretty good. Oh, ho, 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 ho. It's 4. That's the bad roll, because unit remains pinned. So this unit remains pinned, and the other unit is not pinned, so it can move forward. This unit is pinned. It's 2. +3 is 5. So it removes pinned marker, but it cannot perform any additional actions. Now this stack moves on. This unit moves on. This one is pinned. It has +3 and +1 because there is officer on the adjacent hex. It is 4 +2, 6. So it is unpinned, but it cannot perform any actions anymore in this turn. These 2 units are good order, so they are moving on. And now this unit is pinned. It has to perform rally action. +3 and +4 is 8, so it can move on. And now this unit, 5 +3 is 8, so it can move on. So this concludes French actions. Well, you can see that French units suffered some losses. We already lost 3 French platoons and a French officer, so that's not good. And since that's all, next we are moving into the German phase. We are starting with German artillery, and Germans still have 4 points of artillery. So I think I will use one of them here, one of them there, and one of them here. So let's roll to see if any of these hits are scattered. So I will start here. Wow, we hit! Fantastic! So let's check for the result. First hit, 5 +1 because of the clear terrain. So this is 6. So this is loss and pinned. So this unit suffers a loss and is pinned. and the other one, it suffers a loss, so it is eliminated. That was a good shot. Now here we failed, so this hits scatters. It is 2, so it hits this hex. No one there, nothing happens. And this one, it scatters, and where? 6 in this direction, so this French unit is hit. It is 2 plus 1 because of the clear terrain, 3, this is nothing. So these were 3 artillery points spent, so German player remains with 1 artillery points left, and now he can perform his own actions. So this guy fires here, and now this is +1 because of the enemy size, +1 because enemy in the clear terrain. And this is a miss. He fires here, 3 plus 2 and 1, so this is 3. So he is pinned. He fires here, 6, so +2, and they are done. This machine gun fires onto this hex, 6, so the first hit, this unit is suffers a loss and it is pinned, and the other unit, 6, it suffers a loss and it is pinned. Well, you can see this game is deadly and bloody. Yes, it is. Although, when I recorded my first playthrough of this scenario in Polish, French player was able to win. We will see how it will be today. So he fires here, 2 plus 2, this is a miss. He fires there, a miss. He fires here, a miss. He fires here, 5, 6 and 7, 1 loss, so this unit is eliminated. He fires here, 3, 4, 5, a miss. This machine gun still have them in its line of sight, so it can fire. We will take 4, so it will be 5 for the size and 6 for the clear terrain. They are pinned. And there is an infantry unit here that fires at them as well. 3, 5, this is a miss. Now this unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will be a negative -1 modifier. 4, 5 for the size, 6 for the clear terrain, and 5 for the range. This is a miss. And this unit, a miss. So that's all for the German fire. Next we have to, this is the end of the German action, so we are drawing alarm marker, and this is no more +3 for rallying. French player will have to use +2 now. And we have to finish the turn with wind roll. 3, nothing changes here, so this concludes turn 2. Okay, so we are starting with turn 3, and French player is not in the very good condition. In fact, you can always declare that you are unable to win the game, and this is the moment where game ends. If one player loses all his units, the game ends as well. Or if all alarm markers are spent, then the game ends at 2. Alright, so now we are going into turn 3 and French units. Well, a lot of them is pinned, so they will have to undergo rally action. I am starting here, this is +2. No, they are pinned. They remain pinned. 4, 6, they are unpinned, but they cannot do any more stuff. Now here, 5 plus 2 is 7, so they can move on. This one, 6, 8, so they can move on. They move, they move. This stack moves on. And now this unit, 2 plus 2, 4, they remain pinned. So, well, I feel this is going to end very bad for French force, but who knows, maybe Germans will be very unlucky in this turn when it comes to their fire, we will see. So, we are going to the German actions. We still have one air artillery point remained, so I'm going to fire it, let's say here, or maybe there, because there will be 3 adjacent units, so even if it will be scattered, there is a chance that we'll hit someone. So let's roll for the scatter. It is scattered, and where? 2. Here. So these 2 units are hit. First one, 2 plus 1, because of the clear terrain, this is a miss, and the other hit, 4, it is pinned. So that's all when it comes to the German artillery. This was the last artillery point that the German player had. So now we are moving to the German actions. So this German unit fires here. 4, 5 and 6 because of the clear terrain. So this is 6, so they are pinned. And they are already pinned. This means they suffer a loss. So they are done. These guys are firing here. 5, 7, 8. They suffer a loss. They are firing at them. They suffer a loss, so they are hit. Well, it looks very World War I, isn't it? Now, machine gun fires at them. First, the upper unit, 6, so it is massacred. And the lower unit, 6, it is killed as well. This German unit fires here. Nothing. Wait, no. +1 and +2. So, yeah, they are pinned. This unit fires here. 4, 5, 6. They are pinned. This unit fires on them. Miss. This unit fires on them. 6. They suffer a loss, so they are eliminated. This unit fires here. 5 +2, they are eliminated. And now, this machine gun cannot fire at anyone, because you can see that its line of sight is like that. So none of the French units is in its line of sight, so it can change its facing. Machine guns cannot move, but they can change their facing. But this counts as action, so it cannot fire in the same phase. This infantry unit fires at French unit. Miss. They cannot fire at anyone because they cannot see anyone. They can fire at them, but it will be 5 or more hexes. 3. This is a miss. So that's all for Germans. Well, not much of French unit remains on board. We are going into a long phase, and this is forward marker that allows French forces to re-roll one roll, and we are making a roll to see the wind. 6. A wind changes. 2. In this direction. Well, not like it is going to do much for us. So that's all for this turn, and we are moving into the next turn. Yes, there is no turn limit in this game. It is only marked by the allow markers. So, French forces. This unit moves here. This unit moves here. They don't want to stack with them. This unit moves there, and this one has to try to unpin itself. It is 4 plus 6 plus 2 is 6. They are unpinned, but they cannot move. And noticed that they entered barbed wire. Units may enter barbed wire if they want to, and it doesn't change anything. But the problem is if they want to get out of barbed wire. That's where problem occurs. So that's all when it comes to the French actions, and now we are going to check German actions. The Germans have no artillery points, so they are simply firing. And now he's firing here. 4, 6, and 7. 1 loss. 3, 5, no effect. 6, 7, 8, elimination. Machine gun. Oh, looks like machine gun jammed because nothing happened. This unit fires here. 4, 5, 6, so they are pinned. This unit fires at them, and I think I'm going to cheat a bit. Why? Because I want to show you a bit more, and it wouldn't be possible if they would be eliminated now. So let's assume that all of them missed. Let's assume that they are safe, only because I want to show you more of the game's mechanics. So let's assume that they are still safe under all these German fires, and they were all somehow blind, or maybe they drank too much beer or something. Anyway, these guys are safe despite all their attempts to hit on them. So let's go and draw another alarm marker. This is initiative, and let's make a wind check. Nothing. And let's go to another French action phase. And we are now, well, French side lost. They have only 3 units, so we know what's going on to happen. But what I wanted to show you is the effect of the barbed wire and the close combat. So first of all, they are moving here. They are trying to rally. They are rallied and they can act. And this unit wants to move. They are in the barbed wire. Barbed wire is damaged, so we need to make a roll in the extraction table. We have to use barbed wire value as a modifier, and if we would roll 4 to 6, we can move on. If we would get 1 to 3, we have to stay on this hex. So they are making an extraction roll, and they have to add +1 because the barbed wire is damaged. So they can move on onto the enemy hex. And notice, I told you before that there is 2 stacking points limit in the defender trenches. Yes, but this works for each side. So German player can have 2 and French player can have 2. And now, since they are on the same hex, they have to perform close combat at the end of the attacker's actions. So let's perform this close combat. And how do? We make a single 1d6 roll and we add or subtract modifiers. First of all, we check the side unit that is leading the attack. If one side has 2 units, it can choose one of them. But we have only 1 for each side. Next, we have to compare the size of our units. French player has 2, German player has 1. So there is +1 for the attacker. Next, we have to add close combat modifier. This is +2. So we have now +1 and +2. This is +3. Next, we are going to the close combat table, and we have to see if there are any other modifiers. For example, if there would be another friendly unit here, we would have +1. If there would be officer, we would have +1. If any unit was gassed or pinned, there will be a modifier, and that's all. So we need to make a roll, and French player has +3, +1 for the size difference and +2 for the close combat track. So this 3, so this is 6. So we are checking the result. 4 plus, defending units eliminated. All defending units are eliminated. And French unit remains on this hex. So that would be all. And I think this game ends already, because French player lost already about 80% of his forces. So I think this is a good moment to say stop this slaughter. And that would be the end of the game. I hope I was able to show you basics of this game. That's not all. And in the further videos, I'm going to show you more units, more special stuff, more equipment, and more tools of war. But as for today, that's all. Thank you for watching. And if you will have any comments or noticed any mistakes that I made, feel free to point them. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.